Hello, my name's Annie Turner, and I'm the Manager of Community Relations and Cultural Engagement for the Reno-Tahoe Airport Authority, so I oversee the art program.
And hello, I'm Holly Hayden. I'm the Public Art Consultant and Artist Liaison for upcoming public art projects at More R&O.
So we want to tell you about the art program at the Reno-Tahoe International Airport. What is public art? So back in 2021, our Board of Trustees got behind supporting a public art program through a minimum of 1% financial commitment from design and construction costs of capital improvement projects from RTAA funds. So every project as part of the More R&O program will have a component of public art, and that will be drawn from the projects that we have within the program. They will be completed, though, also in partnership with the local and regional community arts organizations. We know that they're the local experts, and we want to tap into their knowledge to help us produce the best public art on our airport campus that we can have.
So with the public art program, what are some goals with having public art in spaces, non-traditional art spaces like airports? Well, the first thing, we want to create a wow moment as the first moment for arrivals and departures, and the first and last impression for travelers. We want to represent the area. The Reno-Tahoe area is so unique. How can we bring in local, regional, and national artists to be part of the project? We want to enliven the space with visual and performance art. We want artwork to be curated throughout the traveler experience. So not just in one location like a museum wall, we really want art to be throughout all of these spaces. And then lastly, enhancing both active and waiting areas for travelers.
So the Airport Authority, with this 1% initiative, commissioned a public piece in the ticketing hall expansion. And we unveiled it last year in 2024. It was called Repeated Refrains. And you see it when you travel through Reno-Tahoe International Airport in the soffit above the ticket counters. Selected was an artist out of Houston, Texas, Dixie Frengay. She's a renowned artist who not only does a lot of public art in airports, but throughout community spaces throughout the country. It's 450 feet long, 7 feet tall. Quite the endeavor. Looks beautiful, and what her intention was pulling together all of the natural elements of Northern Nevada. So at each ticket counter, you'll get an experience of Northern Nevada that you don't have at other ticket counters.
And something really special about this, which will continue through all the other public art, is that the art will coexist with other activities going on in the airport.
Specifically for our concourses, we want to have a robust program through both Concourse A and Concourse B. We have a $2 million plus budget, so a substantial budget, to ensure that you as a traveler and a passenger or a guest can experience art no matter where you look in both concourses. We'll talk about 15 plus locations probably when it's all said and done throughout both concourses, and they can be of many types as written here. Wall-based, interactive, sculptural, there could be ceiling art, there could be floor art, and there could be performance art. So a lot of different opportunities for art in both concourses and what mediums they will take.
And with all of those mediums, with the different types of art, there's different locations of art. I mentioned earlier about that wow moment and also that creating an experience for travelers, no matter if they're arriving or departing, or you're sitting at concessions or you're waiting at your gate, there'll be a moment of artwork no matter where you end up in the concourses.
So what is the public art process?
There's a lot that goes into getting to where we are today. A lot of visioning that goes behind what types of art could work, where they could go in the space. A few things about this that we have lists of what the artwork should not do, and what it could do. So the things that it should do, it's going to be visible, durable, low maintenance for the space. We want our art to be appropriate for guests and travelers of all ages. We also want it to relate to the Modern Mountain theme, which you'll learn more about in the overall conference today. And we also want our artwork to comply with any FAA and safety standards in an airport setting. Things the artwork won't do, so you won't have to worry about it. Artwork's not going to interfere with signage when you're looking for your gate or concessions. It's not going to impact circulation or airport operations. And it won't compete with any decision-making moments you may have as a traveler in the concourse. Some surprise things the artwork could do that we won't know until we commission those artists. It could have lighting or electrical components. It could be a series of artworks, or it could have interactive components that guests can then interact one-on-one with the artwork.
And as we go through this visioning, we're going to consider the entire airport campus. So because we want to bring a holistic approach to public art through all of the projects part of the More R&O program.
So the art selection process, we have an open call. Anybody can apply. It's an RFQ, so it's qualifications. Are you a qualified artist to submit a proposal to the Reno-Tahoe Airport Authority for local, regional, and international artists? Internal and external committees review all of the art submissions, and then they pick semifinalists. So there are semifinalists who submit an RFP, which is a site-specific proposal that really addresses that location that they applied for. Our Art Advisory Committee, which we'll talk about on the next slide, they'll judge, and then the recommendation will be given to our Board of Trustees, who will ultimately make the final selection and award the artist. And here's what our Art Advisory Committee looks like. It's 15 members. 13 of them are very reputable and very influential arts CEOs, directors, artists themselves that represent a variety of different constituencies and organizations throughout Northern Nevada. So Nevada Museum of Art, Stewart Indian School, Nevada Arts Council. Of course, we've got the cities of Sparks and Reno represented in Washoe County, Burning Man, Generator. We have UNR and a special artist from ABC Art Attack. And we also have the Holland Project, Pioneer Center, and Nevada Humanities. So we know that they're the experts and they help us through the process. And we're delighted that they're a part of our Art Advisory Committee for the next many, many years. So our public art timeline, we have a lot of projects going on at once. Headquarters building, we have a ground transportation center. We've got 2 concourses, of course, that we're talking about today, A and B, and we are actually in the midst of Loop Road Public Art. So we completed our Loop Road project about 6 months ago, and we will have a public art component there. And the gray indicates kind of our planning. The blue indicates the RFQ and the artist selection phase, and then finally design development with the artist and fabrication and installation. So this just gives you an overview of how busy the Arts at the Airport program at the Reno-Tahoe Airport Authority will be.
With all of those different components, where are we right now with New Gen? We're in the visioning process in 2025. So the 2 concourses will be construction and design development in kind of a staggered phase. So Concourse A will be first and then Concourse B. So our RFQ launch for artists, the artist selection process and revisions, it'll be Concourse A first through 2026, and then we'll move into Concourse B and just repeat the same process again.
So for artists,
so if you are an artist or you know an artist, how can you participate? How can you be involved in public art at RNO? Well, there's a couple of different ways. One, keep an eye out on our RNO Arts at the Airport website. You can scan our QR codes that we have at the table, or it's always renoairport.com/arts, easy to remember. We'll also post those RFQs and any art solicitation timelines on the solicitations page, and that's through that website also. So you'll see the whole list of anything that's currently open, anything that's closed, anything that we've done. You can really keep up with the whole process. Also, registering is kind of a 2-part process.
It's very important that artists register on the Nevada Government e-marketplace. You cannot be considered for a submission that you do to one of our public art locations without an NGEM registration, application, and signature through that process. So that can be done in advance though. It can be done right now. You're approved and you'll get notifications anytime a public art solicitation comes out at the Reno-Tahoe International Airport.
And pro tip on that, you only have to register once. So artists can do that now, and then you're automatically on the mailing list. You'll be the first people to know about the next RFQ that's out. And then the second part with that, once you've registered with NGEM, you can create a free account on callforentry.org. And that's an intake platform that's for public art in general. Again, you can sign up now for that. That's where artists can put their portfolio, their resume, all of their materials to really get ready to apply for art as it comes available.
and it is submission on both platforms. So artists keep that in mind. It's not just one or the other.
So we want you to tell us what you think. We've told you a lot about the public art program, and certainly as it pertains to our concourses, but we want to know, have you noticed public art in airports? And if you have, what have you enjoyed on the public art side at other airports?
Yeah, also, how important is it to you to hear live music or see performances in an airport? So not just static art that may be on a wall or a ceiling or a floor, but actual performances. And then also, what are 3 words that you would use to describe the Reno-Tahoe area region We want to use those words as prompts for artists to use in their inspiration for coming up with art pieces.
Scanning the QR code is the best way to take the survey. If you're watching this at a time where the survey is no longer available, go to that arts page on our website, the Reno-Tahoe International Airport website. There's a form that you can fill out to reach out to our organization directly. I will ultimately get those emails, and we'd love to hear from you about an answer to each of these questions. So that's an opportunity once the survey closes to get in touch with us, because we'd like to hear what you think. So thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about arts at the airport, and we look forward to all the beautiful art that's going to come across our campus here in the next 3 to 5 years.
Can't wait for your application.
Yes.